write about. Trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist. Am I worth anything or just discount? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
That was the great sounds of Wata with Outside on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Prestige, with my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, Easy Bluez is in the building. Easy Bluez, you're better with introductions more than me. Who do we have with us today on Behind the Brand?
Before we talk about who we have, I want to talk about a situation. I want to talk about when you were younger, you would be able to go to a concert, go to a show, and you're not able to afford that t-shirt. You're there. It's the best experience of your entire life. You know, your parents got you the ticket. It cost money because you were taking a cab back then, not a Lyft or an Uber. It cost money to get to the show, all these different type of things. You saw this amazing show and you wanted a piece of it, but all you could afford was a sticker. And you honored that sticker, and that sticker stayed on your Trapper Keeper for months upon years until it just fell off. But you really wanted that shirt, and you spend your entire life looking for that one shirt. Well, that brings me to this next guest. This person had that experience with an incredible local band that actually jumped. We had their drummer on the show a couple weeks and or months ago. Time still is not relevant for me. I'm still in the 2020 was here and then not here, and now it's about to be 2022. So I'm a little lost in time. But we had the drummer on the show, and this man wanted so much to get a Gargantuan Soul t-shirt. So much so that he started his own company making replica shirts. And on top of that, he follows the incredible branding and marketing strategy of one of my favorite, I didn't get this shirt from there, but one of my favorite pro wrestling shirt companies, Pro Wrestling Tees, in which deals with things a la carte. And for those people who don't know what a la carte means, it means you go up there, you place the order the way you want it, and you get sent to you the way you want it. It's absolutely incredible. I believe it's going to be revolutionary for the music industry as much as it was revolutionary for the independent pro wrestling industry. I do feel that Pro Wrestling Tees helped AEW and the same way to go through. So I'm really looking forward to jumping on and building with this man going forward. I want you to put your hands together. I'm going to butcher your last name possibly because I've never actually pronounced your last name in real life, but put your hands together. Not if you're driving, and keep them at 10 and 2 because no accidents. But put your hands together for Danny Dufour. What do we got here? How do I say that?
Dufour.
Danny
As
Dufour.
Danny Dufour. What can I do for you?
Ooh. When the marketing markets itself. I love it.
That's right.
So I kind of got a little bit into your backstory because I really, really dug when you and I had that conversation and what inspired you to get where you're at. And I really want to make sure that comes across. But now that they've heard it from my big mouth, was it really just that t-shirt aspect? Was that like your Willy Wonka golden ticket? Or was this something that you were thinking about moving forward? Like, what makes this man get into this industry?
Well, so that's a loaded question, I tell you.
That's the truth.
As a snot-nosed 16-year-old music fan, I started promoting national acts via their street teams. I started with a band called Dope out of New York City. They were giving away tapes for free. So nice. I took advantage. I loved their music, so I took advantage, and I signed up for the street team. I got to know the street team leader, and then I was the kid out in front of the venue, handing out singles for national acts that were on their way to releasing new albums. And then one day, I had a tape from an Ansonia, Connecticut-based band called Groove Fiction Sex Ceremony. They were pretty big in the early 90s and early to mid 90s, and they were kind of on their last leg. And I asked them, hey, can I get on your street team? And lo and behold, I ended up actually managing their street team for them, which started a love affair with Connecticut independent music and the Connecticut independent scene. And cover your point with Gargantua Soul, I actually ran their street team shortly thereafter. Managed all their street team stuff starting in 2001, and I was a huge fan. I mean, I got their tattoo on my arm. And their live shows were just incredible, and I was just honored to have been working with them as a 19-year-old naive dude whose only experience promoting was that one particular band or the national acts. And I had a lot of fun with it. From Gargantua Soul, after they disbanded, I worked with a ton of different Connecticut-based acts. Of course, Gargantua Soul, Dead by Wednesday, and then after a while, it transferred to. I had this idea of having my own online radio station, and after 10 years of just collecting various Connecticut-based music, I decided to launch what was called Big Bar Radio, and what we did was Connecticut-based music, 24/7.
Wow.
We operated as it was a lot of work. We operated as a functional radio station. We were live 24/7, only Connecticut-based music. We had live broadcast daily, and then going back to the wrestling connection, we would go and broadcast from the venues live from beginning to end of the event, and we would use those opportunities to have guests on the radio leading up to the shows. And then, the wrestling connection turned into where I would be doing 3 live on location broadcasts a month. And then once a month, we would have our pay-per-view where we booked our own show. Basically they were, it was just so much fun. We did that for about 3 years, and, we would use the live broadcasts on locations for other people's shows as like our Monday Night Raws. And then our shows once a month were our pay-per-view where everyone comes together. After a while, unfortunately, my drinking got a hold of me and I had to stop doing the Big Bar Radio. Then I took a little time off, and I had the idea of, man, I really wish I still had that Gargantua Soul shirt. That one shirt that I wore so much that it fell off of me, or I lost somewhere. Or, like you said, you go to a show and you see a band and maybe they don't have merch. Maybe they're out of merch. So I had this idea, inspired by Pro Wrestling Tees, to create a space and a website for independent musicians from all over the country or world, and give them a place to not only be able to sell their merchandise without having a physical inventory, but also make them money-making opportunities via sales of their merch. We've been going for a few months now, and we've got a pretty decent stable of musicians and bands that are a part of it, and we're hoping to continue to grow.
No, it's incredible, and like I have, like, as long as you don't have a problem with it, I have no problem actually for the listening audience at home breaking down the numbers, because what a lot of people at home who aren't in the industry, a lot of up and coming acts that have no idea, they've just put a couple of songs together and now they're going to go play shows. They don't understand the upfront investment that it actually takes to acquire merchandise. You're talking about, you want to get 100 shirts, something, if you're lucky to get 100 shirts for under $800, if you have that investment to go up. And now you've got to wrestle with how much you're going to charge with them. You've got to go through the whole aspect of, I've played these type of shows. I'm playing a little bit more towards the punk rock, do-it-yourself aspect. So I got to make sure my shirts will only be like $10, but then you're only making $2 per shirt. So to recoup, you've got to sell more just to recoup what you've actually laid out. You really want to look at things and look at it almost as 100% profit intake. That's why you see a lot of these shirts running at about $20, because they need to make that money back, because they need to get that seed money back so they can go get more shirts. physical inventory is crushing. And from, 2020, and we're not going to get super califragilistic into it because we've talked about this topic for over a year now. But, 2020 started, and Shane Penguin, for example, we got 200 shirts. We were ready to go. We were ready to take on the world. We ordered them in March.
Wow.
I still have a closet full of shirts because we haven't been able to recoup it. And that's with having okay online sales through Bandcamp. But even that, I love Bandcamp. Don't get me wrong. Bandcamp is awesome. Shout out to Bandcamp. Shout out to Bandcamp. Fee-free Fridays. I love them to death. I think they're doing great, trying to take care of the musicians as much as humanly possible. Not going to knock Bandcamp. But even having the stores on Bandcamp, I then have to go grab the shirt, go through all the sizes because I'm sure I labeled them incorrectly at some point in time. Go to the post office, fill out everything. My handwriting is atrocious, so 9 times out of 10, it's going to get sent back to me. Let's be real. I'm gonna start like getting a printer generator or something. And all of these different, all these extra expenses that add on, and now people are getting charged on Bandcamp $30 for the shirt because they got to pay for the shipping and handling. It all adds up onto itself, and we're still taking a loss on shipping and handling, if I'm being honest, because it's a flat rate $10 shipping and handling. So those people that want that shirt in England, because apparently they like us in England, which is weird. That's like $25, bro. Like, let's be real. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. I don't like it. So having this type of service is such a huge thing because that's one less thing you have to think about. And as a musician and as an artist, the least amount of business stuff you have to think about, the better your art becomes. I have the ability to just focus on my songs and like being a jackbutt jumping around like a fool on stage. That's what I'm going to do. Like, oh, that's awesome. I would love to just be able to focus on that and not have to focus on how many streams we're getting here, or did this internet campaign launch there, or for real. That being said, I'm not going to sign to a major label to have them take all of my to take all of the little money that we already that we barely make. So it's a give and take, but this is clutch. And I really want the musicians at home to understand by the end of this show, if you don't already have my man Danny's contact information down, you are actually losing. That's,
I really appreciate that because, especially with physical merchandise and physical inventory, when you're going to the local print houses to get them printed, you have to, in order to get the deals, they sell you on, oh, well, you get 100 shirts, you could get them for this amount each. And, in my dealings with all the, local independent music band, acts and all that, I've noticed that after a while, every album you cycle with a different marketing tactic because you're not you're not like promoting the same thing anymore. You have evolved as an artist.
Nope.
Sure.
And your merchandise should be evolving with you. Now, having to buy 100, 200 shirts, so it really doesn't, break your bank, and you could actually get a little bit of profit out of it. You're going to have 100 shirts. Now, as an independent artist who's just maybe established, or not just established, but just starting out, you'll be lucky to have 100 fans that will invest in you and your product by buying the t-shirts. So I did, that was a constant issue. Musician would come up to me, I have all these old shirts, but no one wants to buy them because everyone already has them. We have a new album coming out. So I took that problem and decided to, I have a thing about me where, especially with independent music, if I enjoy the band or hip hop artist or whatever, I have like this insatiable need to get involved somehow and help them and just like see them thrive. And when it comes to merchandising, it's always a problem. So I took that problem and I literally tried to rectify it by launching what I called virtualmerchbooths.com. And it's been fun to see, it's not just a Connecticut-based thing either. I'm looking to expand across the country. I have a band called Hollywood Riot out of Arkansas who
Nice.
they've been selling their merch, and there is literally no out-of-pocket expense at all. I'm here to help. We do share in the profits, and I do take my chunk, admittedly, but mostly it's getting the money in the artist's hand with no out-of-pocket expense. So you, as the artist, can focus on your craft, whether it be, evolving your stage show, recording, like you said, just jumping around on stage. That's the stuff you should be worried about as an artist. You shouldn't have to worry about, man, I got 50 shirts, we got a show, there's only 20 people here. I need to sell this merch. You shouldn't have to worry about that as an artist.
No.
It's already hard enough to break through and establish yourself in a local market, especially, unfortunately, with so many venues that have closed due to this pandemic. And it also, like you said, you got fans in England. It gives fans all over the world a chance to not only see what you're about, but gives them an opportunity to support you and, wear your brand, on their back.
Exactly.
It's a lot of work. It's been slow going, getting new acts on there. We currently have Dufour, who you recently had on your show. We have Dead by Wednesday.
Okay.
My boy Opus, drummer of Gargantua Soul. Me and him go way back. And I give.
We've also had him on the show too.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I might have missed that one. I might have to check that one out. He's kind of a punk
it was
sometimes.
fun.
So.
It was fun, especially when his dog peed all over the floor.
Oh man, I definitely got to check that one out. I'm a couple behind. I also saw you had Edwin Escobar on.
Yes,
that's my man. I love Edwin. Me and Edwin go back to the Big Bar radio days. Funny story about Esco. He and I got a lot of them. I bet you he's shaking right now because he doesn't know which one I'm going to talk about.
Remember, terrestrial radio. Terrestrial radio.
It goes back to the Big Bar radio days. I had a Connecticut Hip Hop Underground show that aired on Wednesday nights, and it was hosted by my boy Chuck Nichols from the Full Blast Movement.
Okay.
Connecticut's livest hype man, And Esco actually came in with Samuel Grimes, God rest his soul, recently passed away. Rest in peace, Sam. And he came for that Wednesday show, did the whole show. I had a morning radio show on Thursdays. He came in for that one. It's the following day, and then we had just a big live with the round table with all of whoever wants to come in could come in. We're doing a show. And Edwin showed up to that one too, and we were rolling ever since. I've had the pleasure of helping him out with a lot of his earlier music videos, and to see where he's come has been, where he's come from to where he is now has been just like amazing. So big ups to Edwin Escobar, man.
No, definitely.
Dude's a hard worker.
Well, see, that's what's incredible, because everything that you're talking about is everything a healthy scene needs. It's this interpersonal connection between everyone and everyone working together. You hear these stories, when we had Demko on, earlier on in this whole thing, he was talking about how he showed up at Vic Steffens' recording studio 20-something years ago, and he just never left, and all of this just continues to happen. We heard the same kind of story on how Full Blast, the movement started before the booking agency even started, and everything has this wonderful synergy that does work together. And from an artist aspect of it, it does frustrate me that it doesn't get the recognition that's necessary. Like, no matter what, you're going to have your haters. It happens. Those people who, it's because the scene doesn't support us, that's why we don't go far. Or maybe you don't practice. Maybe your songs aren't that good. Maybe it's time to go back to the woodshed and work it out, be better, and give them something bulletproof. This is gonna be my new thing going from this point on. I'm gonna tell people you just need to be bulletproof. You know, I
Let's
don't
be
believe in
bulletproof on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Prestige, with my partner in crime, Long Island Rays, Elm City Made. EZ Blues is in the building. Continue, sir, about your rant. Go right ahead.
Well, the whole point of being bulletproof about it is giving them something that they cannot deny, period. And you have to look past your own ego. You have to look past, you have to take a hard look at yourself. You have to say, as a vocalist, there's many times, and thank goodness I'm in a band where I have, other people that say, hey, maybe try this delivery a little bit different, soften it up. You don't need to be mad all the time. You're scaring little children. I get that in practice, so I don't have to deal with that, on the live stage and stuff like that. But it's a matter of making your art bulletproof. And you have to be accountable. You have to be accountable. You have to look at it and say, okay, what did I do wrong for this show? From a promotion aspect, what did I do wrong? From, from a marketing aspect, what did I do wrong? From the performance aspect, what did I do wrong? Then start getting those other factors in. Then take a look and be like, oh, I realized the reason why this show was dead is there's 900 other shows going on. Oh, I didn't realize that, the Femmes were playing at, a College Street the same day as the show. No wonder why our fan base, who are also Violent Femmes fan base, are going to go to the Violent Femmes show. I was thinking about ditching the show and I'm playing it. You have, those are all factors. I'm not going to say they aren't relevant. But the most important thing is if you give somebody something that's bulletproof, then you can say all the other factors are what is holding you back. But if you're just giving them something that's good,
it's all about like recognizing those things too. And one thing you didn't mention is, did you promote the show enough? A lot, especially nowadays. I'm old school. I started in 1998 as a promoter. And I can't even tell you how many flyers I used to sit in the hallway of the Gargantuous Soul practice spot, stuffing envelopes, licking stamps, sending out those free Toads passes, thousands upon thousands. And, I was lucky enough at an earlier age, 19 years old, I'm working with G Soul, to see how it all works and, how to successfully market and promote music. I'm a student still to this day. I'm over 20 years in, and I'm still finding different ways to promote and expand. But the one thing you always should go back to is the in-person flyering, going out to shows, supporting your scene. One of our taglines back in the Big Bar Radio days was, if you want a scene, make a scene. If you want it, it's there. You have to just put the work and the time and the effort into it. Then that goes back to improving your craft as a musician or artist or even a promoter. Okay, so I flyered this, I went out to so for example, Band A is playing with Band B at Band B's big CD release party. Band A has a show at the same venue 3-4 weeks before. While me as Band B, I'm going to go to that show and I'm going to flyer. I'm going to hand out, they don't do it as much anymore, but CD singles. I would, just to get the word out to not only show your support for the other artists and the other artists on the bill, but to help expand what you're doing as an artist, because it all comes back to the art, whether it be performance art, whether it be recording, whether it just be networking with people and finding new fans and extending your hand. Hey, I love this band. It goes back to the street team aspect. And unfortunately, in modern times, most people are relying on the social media aspect of it, which is all controlled by algorithms. And what people see is in other people's hands. Whereas if you're out in a club somewhere flyering, you're already around a bunch of like-minded individuals who love independent music and love live music. And the market is already there for you. It's all about presentation and having even something as simple as wearing a cool shirt to a show. Like I just went to see Alice Cooper on Sunday,
Right.
who was awesome, and I was rocking this Kiss shirt that I made, just custom, and I just so many comments about the shirt, and it's the same thing. Like you know, whoa, what that shirt's cool. What band is that? You know, something as simple as that can turn, you know, a stranger into a fan, or as I like to say, like a partner in music. And to find people who are willing to put the work in to promote you as an artist is,
Right.
you know, that's a hump you always got to get over. And it's not always going to be, you know, it's not always going to be successful. I can't tell you how many times I handed someone a flyer and they instantly throw it on the garbage. The networking aspect and supporting independent music as a group of like-minded people who are here for the betterment of the scene raises the scene up. Hence, if you want a scene, make a scene. If you're a band and you're like, oh, we're not drawing, you know, no one's booking us, go out and book yourself. Find a way. And then at the same time, bring it in all aspects. Bring it. People are only going to take you as serious as you take yourself. That's what I've learned.
So Danny, just to piggyback off your question, so do you believe the actual person is the best flyer instead of flyers themselves?
Yes. The flyer itself is just an addendum and an extension of your own personality. And, you know, let's face it, not everyone's friendly, kind of like
Not at all.
extrovert. You know, I'm, you know, outside of outside of my dealings with the radio and stuff back in the day, I'm kind of like a quiet guy. I just want to, especially now I'm a father. A father too. Shout out to my son Danny and my daughter Bella. I told him I shout them out.
Absolutely, shout them.
And you know, it's hard, man. It's just hard to establish yourself, and you have to remember. And I feel like a lot of independent musicians forget this aspect. People are always watching. You know, people are always watching. So the impression you make with the general public goes a long way. That could be, who knows who's going to see you, or, you know, especially in a live setting when you're at a show, who knows who's going to end up showing up. So if you're all sloppy drunk on stage and you look like a mess, there's no way someone who can invest in you will take that leap because they saw you acting a fool. You know? So presentation as a person and an artist is, I think, number one. It really is. And of course the flyering helps because someone will put it in their pocket, go home and, oh, I forgot I had this flyer. Let me check out their website, or let me go check out their virtual merch booth. Maybe they have some cool shirts, or like this Deuce Bug shirt. You go to virtualmerchbooth.com/DeuceBug and you could get, you know, a backstory on Deuce Bug and who he is as a performer. Not only that, but you could watch some of his music videos.
Absolutely.
And then you could check out his merch and maybe buy the merch to help support his cause.
Right. No, it's incredible. And it works in that type of aspect. You know, I 100% feel the same way you do about how important physical street teams are. We have moved towards the, you know, digital street team aspect of it. And it's okay. You know, you're not getting the same type of results. You're just not. You know, plus you have those other factors of obviously 2020, there wasn't the physical shows to promote. So you only had, you know, what you could do through these algorithms. And then you have to really start to understand the math behind it and really have to understand the reasonings behind it. And that can drive you crazy into itself. If you're not a good chess player, don't bother trying to figure out the algorithm nonsense, because you're just not. You know, pay someone to do it. That's the other thing. Like as someone starting out in the business, understand what you're good at and understand what you're not good at. What you're not good at, make sure you're making friends so that at least in the beginning, these things can be done, you know, because you're cool or because they like you, or you're changing things up. You know, when I first started doing the acoustic stuff, you know, I was good at the personal networking, different type of things. And I would take other acoustic acts with me to walk through a show and teach them how to do that. And they would help me with the social media aspect, because as much as it's easy, I don't like it. You know,
Well,
like, oh, you should do this, this. You have such a funny personality. You should be on Twitter. I was like, yeah, but people are on Twitter and they're going to say things. And then I'm going to not have a really good personality. And I'm going to say things back. And I'm going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. I don't want to hurt people's feelings. You know, because I can say some really horrible things sometimes.
There's a reason why because if you we do have an archive, and I know it's family friendly radio station, so I'm not even going to put the archive out there because it is pretty vulgar. But back in the Big Bar Radio days, we were uncensored, and I probably said some stuff that hurt a lot of people's feelings. It's God's honest truth. And it goes back to ego. I had an ego, man. Like, I'm this dude, I'm running this radio station, and karma, having to lose my radio station and having to kind of like rebuild who I am as a person, because all my interactions had to do with being intoxicated. You know? So it's like that losing the radio station was like a symptom of my drinking problem. And it was a problem. But ultimately it is hard, especially to market, especially to strangers. And you got to have a hook. No matter what it be, your personality, your music. Like sometimes whatever music you're doing is undeniable. You just can't help but. Like when I first saw Gargantuan Soul, I know we keep going back to G Soul, but like without Gargantuan Soul, and I would not be doing the stuff I'm doing now. And they are true Connecticut-based music legends. And even to this day, I'm still a huge fan. My son knows Gargantuan Soul. He's only 5. The fire still burns. Our music lives forever. It does. Right. And and it's that's what drew me to it as someone who is a huge music fan who can't play music. I'm not a musician.
Right.
I thankfully found that my talents in marketing and promoting and like you said, networking with some incredible musicians and putting in the work with them, not for them, but with them. I like to work with people, not for people. And likewise, I want them to work with me, not for me. And I'm just like I'm just lucky enough to have found a new avenue to continue to help the independent music scene, because my really after I got sober and I became a father, I had to like learn who I was again. And it took me like everyone's like, oh, go back to doing radio. This is almost a decade ago and people are still wondering when I'm going to do Big Bar Radio again. And the passion's not there. I don't have that passion anymore. I'm a father first and foremost. So, if I'm going to do anything, it's going to be something I'm extremely passionate about, that's ever evolving, because I'm kind of ADD. I get a little bored if something is easy, I guess. I always need a chance in a project to keep building on. And virtual merch booths was that for me. It helped me find my identity as a music marketer again. Only this time I'm putting the power in the band's hands and the artist's hands, because we do also do like physical art, painters, drawers, that kind of stuff. I've given a couple people so far. I'm hoping to expand on the artist section, an avenue where they could sell their painting and artwork on shirts. I have a couple things added now. My friend Norm, who is an incredible artist, and he has a section on there, and he's been doing pretty well selling his shirts, and it's to help bring their artwork, just like with the music, to a different medium, maybe a medium they had no idea how to break into. A lot of focus on the music aspect. They don't know how to make a website, or they don't, or like the local physical inventory prices, price them right out of the game. So I wanted to give them a chance to show everyone else what they got. And also I have a horror artist. He does special effects for movies and stuff like that. His name is Jeremy Ogre Amos, and he does some just amazing drawings. And I have another business where I do reproduction shirts of classic concert shirts.
Mhm.
But I'm not here to talk about that. But that's how I met him, and he ended up buying one of my shirts, and I saw some of his artwork, and I was like, Jeremy, can I get you on virtual merch booths, dude? Let me because it goes back to I have to be involved. I have to find a way to help any way I can. And his artwork was just stunning, unbelievable. And I was like, dude, let me get you on virtual merch booths, please, because not only do I want other people to buy your shirts, I want to buy them myself. And that's what it is. I want people to just have a way to spread their love and spread their talent to other people. And it's not only that, it's a networking through, it helps other artists network with other artists. Let's say I'm on virtual merch booths to check out old G Soul shirts because I remember them from 99 to 2003. And I always wanted that one shirt, and virtual merch booths, they have it. They have that old shirt that I had. I have to get that.
Right.
What's this? Dead by Wednesday. I should check them out while I'm here. So it's about, for me, it's about a network. I want people to fall on virtualmerchbooth.com and find new music and find new artists too, not just for the bands that they're there to buy and support, but to find new artists and new music to support as well. And that's part of the reason why, especially for the musicians themselves, there's zero overhead, no overhead. I am not charging, outside of my commission per sale. Right. I am not getting anything. I'm handling, hey, I'm trying to do an interview here. I'm handling.
Like you said, you're trying to handle everything.
Dude, yeah, this guy.
Like you did say that.
If they don't have the artwork themselves,
right?
Because they're just getting started out. I'm a graphic designer. That's how I got my start. So I will, again, zero overhead for the band. There's no hosting fees or musician. Right. I keep saying band because I'm so used to bands, but I do work with artists and, hip hop artists and folk artists, whatever. It doesn't matter.
You're doing this for a long time.
So long. It's crazy because, 1998 was, God, it felt like it was yesterday when I got that. When I got that first dope tape, it was an orange cassette. I could still hear it, and I could still feel it in my hands. It's and time goes by so fast, and I've been honored, completely honored to have been working with so many amazing artists, and I'm just so lucky to still be able to do that in a different medium. I just want, I still live by, help me, help you, help us.
Right.
Let's help each other, because that's the only way we can build as a team and as individuals as well. And that's, to me, that's what the core essence of virtual merch booths is. Definitely. It's how, building together. And, the no overhead, I could be greedy. I could be like, oh yeah,
easily.
You got to pay me X amount of money to be on here, and you got to pay me this monthly fee, and then all this stuff. I don't want to do that. I want,
right.
I'm not going to, I'm not here to make money off of your art. I want you to make money off your art.
Right.
I do get my commission because, I do all the setup. I do, the print setups. I do customer service.
The customer service is huge.
Huge, man.
I want people really understand that. It's huge. The customer service alone. Where's my shirt? Oh man,
you as an artist don't even have to worry about that. I field all questions.
That's great.
Hey, I saw you have the I call this one the dad core shirt. I don't, you go to virtualmerchboost.com/deucebug. You'll see this one. I call it the dad core shirt. Dude, that dad core shirt is really cool, but I was wondering if I could get it on a hoodie. I saw it wasn't on the website. I want a hoodie. Guess what? Message me. I'll put it up as a hoodie.
There you go.
You know,
There
like
you go.
There you go.
I want mugs. You know, I even do like Facebook groups. I have a Goodwill Facebook group.
There you go.
And, I made this mug, and it's not true in this instance. It says I would rather be thrifting, and you know, because I'm a bit of a thrifter myself, and you know, someone could be like, "Oh, that dad core shirt, can you put on a mug for me?" Of course I can. You know, like I want it as a la carte as possible for not just the artists. Like artists can have an idea, like, "Hey, I have this new album coming out. The album artwork is amazing. Can we do a canvas print of the art and offer it to the fans?" Of course we can. That's become my motto. Of course we can. Let's do it. You have an idea, I'll help you make it happen.
And we're making it happen on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Prestige, with my partner in crime, Long Island Raised, Elm City made, EZ Bluez is in the building. Danny's in the building with us too, man, giving us great knowledge of his journey of networking. I can't believe how much stuff you learned and how much stuff you've seen transition between 1998 and 2021. Just seeing artists transition, just seeing artists you felt that was be the next big thing and just out of nowhere just disappear because of outside distractions. So many stuff that you've seen, so much stuff to still learn about. Easy, continue. I love to hear.
Yeah, no, well, now you. Prestige, you know me very well. Usually on this show, when there's a great idea, I have to then put my own 2 cents in.
Absolutely,
because it's crazy. You know, they started to do a little bit of this on Pro Wrestling Tees, but I really think it actually hammers home the best for you. You should start having your artists talk to the musicians, and do virtual merch tee exclusive collabs. So like your artist friend doing a shirt for Deucebug, or you know what I'm saying, and then them splitting it 50-50. So now they have 2 people that are promoting that particular shirt and that brand, and it really is that networking aspect that is the foundation of the very brand that is virtual merch booth, virtualmerchbooth.com. So I mean, I think that there's something there.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
No, definitely. And again, like you're very humble, and I know you don't want to necessarily have the undercut aspect there. So I'm gonna do it for you. Not to get into the particulars, not to get into any of the numbers, but I've sat and I've talked numbers with you. And for those that are playing the game at home. Okay, if you're playing the home game right now, it is less expensive to use your service than to do it yourself. Period.
And you know, that was kind of like what I was trying to accomplish. You know, like it goes back to them. You know, as artists and musicians, they shouldn't have to worry about merch. They really shouldn't. You know, they got bigger fish to fry, and when you're focused on the merch aspect of it, other parts, you know, other parts don't get the attention it deserves. Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of all the acts that I've ever worked with. You know, and I want to be a fan of yours. You know what I mean? I want to find new music. I want to help new artists, and thankfully, with virtual merch booths, it has created a venue for, you know, even if you're not out gigging. You've never gigged before in your life, but you're doing music, and you have a following online, but you don't know how to get your merch in their hands, and you don't want to spend all that money. That's what virtual merch booth is here for. You know, we even do hats. You know, we do everything. And
you got something for everybody.
Something for everybody. That's what we try. You know, we try to. You know, give and not for nothing, but like when someone approaches you with like opportunities as an artist, you're always skeptical of them. What are they going to get out of this? How much is this going to cost me? How much money are they going to take out of my pocket just for working with them? And I wanted to like just straight eliminate that, like, because it's not, and especially for working with independent music as long as I have been, it's never been about that. Even with Big Bar Radio, I've never charged to go out to the venues to do the on locations. Like let's say Dead by Wednesday had, and I've had the absolute honor of broadcasting a few Dead by Wednesday shows, who are also on virtualmerchbooth.com/Dead by Wednesday. Got to get the plug in.
Definitely.
So pumped to have them part of it, only because, literally like me and Opus have gone back since I was just this young kid, and to have him trust me with his merchandising. It's a secondary shop. They have their own shop, but we stock stuff from the previous albums.
Right.
And to have someone of his caliber, he is, probably the quintessentially like one of the hardest working people I've ever met in the scene. And I've been able to sit under his learning tree for a long time. And even on that level, there's so many different hurdles as an artist that you have to get over. Merchandise, again, being one of them. It's just, at the end of the day, I just want to be able to help. I want to help.
Right.
I want to help the musician.
Who are some of the artists that you haven't got a chance to help but really, really, really want to? Who are some of those inspiring prospective artists that are just catching your eye right now?
I've been kind of out of the loop on the independent scene. I'll tell you one, and he's got his game on point, and it's probably, maybe I could maybe approach him for a secondary shop. But Chesky Ramos is just like
amazing.
Unbelievable. I remember, because he's Opus's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
When I first met and heard Chesky's music, I remember being so mad at Opus for not telling me about him. Like, dude, your cousin is like unbelievable, and he was singing with Dead by Wednesday back in like the early days.
Yeah.
That's probably one of them. Man, there's a lot of them. There's I would love to get, and Chuck Nichols has his own thing going on with his own shirt shop, but I would love to get some Chuck Nichols stuff because not only because he's a really good friend of mine, but like I feel like we can make some like really cool designs together.
Right.
I'm also getting back to the wrestling stuff. I'm getting ready, and I guess I can announce it here. I'm getting ready to launch an independent wrestling section virtual merch booth, starting with Lucas Chase, who is
Nice.
He's currently the Rhodes Wrestling Academy champion.
Okay.
And shout out to Blood, Sweat, Tears Wrestling, a local wrestling company that he works with.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping to expand on the wrestling stuff and, expand past Connecticut. I'm open to anyone, and this is my plea to anyone out there who is a musician, who needs merchandise solutions that literally, again, cost you nothing outside of you marketing it. Contact me, send me a message.
Yep.
And let's get to work. Let's spread your brand to the world. I'm here for you. Let's and I want you to be here for me too. It's help me help you help us, and hit me up, because I've been out of the scene for a good 8 years, and this is kind of my reintroduction back into the scene. It's cyclical. I've worked, I'll work with a band and I'll take some time off, and and then Big Bar Radio happened, and it did that for 3 years, and then ultimately that was the last thing I did. So I'm like excited to find more current artists. And it's the cool thing is, I did start with the core group of acts that I've already worked with. Kai Blackwood. Kai Blackwood in the Tokyo Death Squad. He's also on virtual merch booths. He's a filmmaker out of New Haven. He was in Gargantua Soul for a while. He was in a old school band called Violent Industry, also with Opus. And it's cyclical. I'm very excited to have him on board too, because he really hasn't had much merch. And if you haven't checked out his music, he's back doing music after years of taking time off, and
Right.
it's been interesting to see and to be able to keep those brands alive. They're going back to the first band that I ever worked with, not Gargantua Soul, but Guru Fiction
Nope.
Sex Ceremony, out of Ansonia. There was literally nothing on Google about Guru Fiction at all. And going back to Vic Steffens, they actually, and how everything's connected, their debut album was recorded at Horizon Music Studio,
Yep.
with Vic Steffens.
Mhm.
And it's cool to see him still rocking and rolling out there too. But a couple of the members have since passed away. Rest in peace, Johnny McCarthy, the singer, and Roxy Michaels, who was a really good close friend of mine, who passed away in the years since. And if it wasn't for Roxy originally allowing me to take over the website for Group Fiction, I wouldn't be here. I would have never found my path as a marketer and as a promoter of local music. And when the time came to launch virtual merch booths, I approached the surviving members and I said, hey, I noticed there's really not much about your band out there anywhere. I still love the music so much. Would you allow me to include you, as a community member of virtual merch booths? And I am honored to actually have them on there. Not only because that's where I got my start. They trusted me as a 16-year-old snot-nosed kid with their website and their street team. And I wanted to, in some ways, keep them alive, keep their music alive. Just give another spot online where if someone's doing a Google search for that band, they could happen upon the virtual merch booths page.
That's
There's,
awesome.
read their bio and who they were as a band and listen to their music. And that's also a part of it. I want to have it be kind of like a time capsule for bands who have since disbanded. There was a band.
I think it's incredible, and what you're doing is absolutely amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Unfortunately, like every good interview we have, time is going to start to run down. We're going to make 2 announcements right here live on air. Two announcements live on air dealing with the virtual merch booth. Going back and forth and different things like that. I would like to also say that Shane Penguin will officially be sending you the stuff this week. So Shane Penguin will be a part of the virtual merch booth. And although the co-host doesn't 100% know this yet, but if you would have us, I mean, people have been asking for the behind the brand mugs, and I want people to wear my face as much as possible. So like behind the brand would totally be down to do a leg of the virtual merch booth as well. So
I'd be honored to have both Shane Penguin and Beyond the Brand as part of virtual merch booths, because it isn't just about like music and art. It's about community, I'm pumped. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like kind of at a lost words. I'm really pumped to have you guys a part of it, and I can't wait to launch your sections. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be dope. But now the most important thing is you need to tell everybody that's listening how to get in touch with you, how to find you. Don't give out your personal telephone number. Don't be doing that. Just like give an email address or something. I mean, if you want to give out your personal, and from what I know, it's 867-5309, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
The easiest way to get a hold of me is for virtual merch booths. We do have a Facebook page, so you can contact me through the Facebook page. You go to virtualmerchboothswithan.com. There's a contact form on that on I think pretty much every page. You could send me a Facebook message at facebook.com/JimmyJive. That would be directly to my personal Facebook. Or email. I almost forgot. contact@bigbarproductions.com is the straight email contact.
Right. Perfect. And thank you so much for coming on. Thank you very much for doing this. And also, you know, it's incredible to see when business is motivated by passion. And you are a very passionate man. And I love that you are a passionate man about a local scene that a lot of people forget even exists. We need more people like you to herald the incredibleness of the local scene before the tickets are $135 and you can only sit in the nosebleeds and say, I used to know that guy, you know? So I really appreciate it. This was actually something that I'd been talking about, trying to figure out how to do for a while since I saw Pro Wrestling Tees, catch fire. You know, and it made no sense to me why that wasn't being it wasn't happening in the independent music scene or the local music scenes. So thank you for that. Thank you for seeing that. Thank you for moving forward with that. Also, if you want to give anybody you want to give our contact information to, please do. If they are, you know, working with you, then obviously they're good human beings and we can have them on the show. You know, but yeah, it's been an incredible ride. It's been an incredible journey. Go be the awesome, dope father that you are. And man, I'm looking forward to building in the future, man. You're good humans. We need more good humans in this world.
You know, I do my best, and, you know, I have to give appreciation and love to my wife, Julianne, because without her support, allowing me to do all the crazy stuff I've done in the last 13 years of her being, you know, by my side, I probably wouldn't be doing this. So, you know, got to give credit where credit is due to my wonderful wife. She's so supportive, and she's also a fan of all the bands that we work with. So it's nice to have that kind of partnership. So, and I can't wait to have you guys a part of it. Thank you guys so much for giving me a platform to speak on it, because, you know, this is my first time that I've been interviewed in the last decade. I think the last time I was on Connecticut Rocks with Bobby D, like 10 years ago. So I'm excited to get back out there and spread the word.
Well, Danny,
that's awesome.
Thank you. We appreciate you on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Prestige, with my partner in crime, Easy Bluez, behind the brand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wondering what to write about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just a discount? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Spending time all alone, sending my songs to the phone, dreaming of a better home, while focused on trying to hone this craft, witchcraft. I hope the Brujas let this last.
I don't know.